Hello, and welcome to our weekly Friday Live Extra, produced in conjunction with Friday Live, which broadcasts over the air and comes to you as a podcast each week. Don't forget to check out even more about Nebraska Arts and Humanities on our website, nebraskapublicmedia.org/Friday Live. The Lincoln Choral Artists have a new director and a concert coming up on Saturday, December 13th, joined by some special guests. That new director I referenced is Brian Faulkner, who is also director of the Arts for the Soul series and of music at First Presbyterian Church, a composer and an arranger as well, we shall add. So he's adding another hat here to the hat rack with Lincoln Choral Artists. Brian, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me.
This is great. The concert is indeed at First Presbyterian in Lincoln, with some special guests. Who are they?
We do. We also have the Lincoln Public Schools All-City Girls Choir, so grades 6 through 8. About 40-some plus girls coming to join us, so that should be very exciting.
How did it come to be that these 40-plus girls would be joining in with Lincoln Choral Artists?
Well, I was looking when we were planning the season, looking for a guest group to come with us, and came across that idea and talked to their director, Hannah Lambert, and she seemed interested, so here we are.
Now, the concert is titled Joyful and Triumphant. Some may recognize that as a lyric from O Come Ye. What are the pieces that you've programmed along that theme?
Well, we have quite a variety of things. There are sacred pieces, some music by John Rutter. You always have to have a John Rutter piece at Christmas, right? Hymns that we're also doing, some David Wilcox arrangements of hymns that we're doing, and also his Jingle Bells. So we have some sacred music and some secular music, everything from a very nice, beautiful arrangement of O Come, O Come, Emmanuel that includes oboe. We have an oboist as well, to White Christmas and Jingle Bells. So as the David Wilcox version of Jingle Bells, I told the choir when we started, this is a high-class Jingle Bells. So
there you go. Now, how big is Lincoln Choral Artists?
It's about 30.
30.
Right,
so you're combining a choir of about 30 with about 40 and
yes,
very disparate ages. How many rehearsals do the two choirs get together?
Well, actually, together, it's just going to be that day. So I went to one of their rehearsals, so went through things with them, so we kind of were on the same page with tempo and some ideas and everything. Then we're going to meet early that afternoon. They're going to come early and rehearse in the space a little bit and then rehearse together. We're doing two pieces together, two very beautiful pieces. Randall Thompson's Noel from the Nativity that he did, very beautiful piece. And then also Carolyn Jennings' piece, Climb to the Top of the Highest Mountain, which has always been one of my favorites. Very beautiful piece, and actually has a part written in it for a children's choir, so works out rather nicely.
I know from experience, from having been a kid, when you get a chance to perform with other musicians, it's a whole new experience. So I imagine that first time the girls hear all of those other singers around them, it's going to be a really amazing sound.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, and in the church space, it's a little different than what they're used to, and with the organ and a lot of different things. So, yeah, I hope it's a wonderful experience for them and hope for the audience as well.
Now, Brian, for you, I know there are a number of arts organizations in Lincoln and across the state, and when a person is involved in more than one, how do you balance all of your commitments?
It does get a little complicated, especially when things start to hit together. Actually, back in October, I had a concert with my church choir on Arts for the Soul and a concert with the Lincoln Choral Artists, my very first one. We're all within less than a week of each other. And it's one of those things that 6 months ahead of that, you go, well, yeah, this will be tight, but it'll be okay. And then like a week before, you go, what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The holiday season is full of that.
Yes.
For all musicians, I feel. Well, you're really doing a wonderful thing, keeping all of these things going for the community and providing lots of music, Brian.
Well, we're doing our best. And, the Lincoln Choral Artists has a long and proud history. It goes back decades.
Yeah.
And so we're hoping to keep that going and move forward into the future. So I'm happy and proud to be a part of it.
Brian Faulkner. He will conduct a concert with Lincoln Choral Artists on Saturday, December 13th, joined by the LPS All-City Girls Chorus. That concert is at 7 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church. It's called Joyful and Triumphant. And, of course, we'll have more information on the Friday Live page. Brian, as always, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Here we go. Right on it. 7-2. 2 and 3 and 4 and...
The Lincoln Midwest Ballet Company is getting ready to bring the Nutcracker back to the Lied Center for its 41st year, with performances on Saturday, December 13th at 2 and 7 p.m., and Sunday, December 14th at 2 p.m. Nearly 200 student dancers from across southeastern Nebraska will take the stage alongside professional guests. Artistic director Sherry True are going to tell us all about it. Welcome.
Thank you.
You guys have been doing the Nutcracker for over 4 decades now. What parts of the production feel fresh to you each season, even after all this time?
Oh, we love the Nutcracker. And you know what? Every year we try to change and do something special that the audiences can come and see that's new. And this particular year is a very exciting year because we have a new growing Christmas tree. And it is over 35 feet tall and very wide. It almost takes the whole stage up. Drosselmeyer, who is Herr Drosselmeyer, that gives Clara the Nutcracker, is sort of, in her mind, this magical being that makes everything come to life. And so Drosselmeyer makes her small Christmas tree in her dream grow to an enormous size. At the bottom of our Christmas tree, we have had an artist commission that has a castle at the bottom, like a child would have left a toy castle at the bottom of the tree. The castle grows along with the tree, and hence the Nutcracker appears from the middle of the Christmas tree through the castle doors. It is going to be enchanting.
So, Sherry, you've choreographed everything from original ballets to works for symphonies and musicals. How do those experiences inform your approach to directing the Nutcracker this year?
Ooh, I just love the narrative of making something in ballet come to life on the stage through movement, acting. Sometimes I really like my ballets to have a little bit of humor so that, you know, guys that come, grandpas, dads, also get kind of a little bit of a chuckle. And it's not just a dry ballet, but it has an enchanting story. The characters are brought to life through the dancers and through acting and through the movement. And I guess I'm just a born storyteller. I love to tell stories, and I love to use ballet as the vehicle to tell those stories.
I have to ask, which character in the Nutcracker do you identify with the most, and why?
I love Snow Queen. She's magical. She's enchanting. She makes the snow flurry. She gathers all of her snow princesses and her snow corps. And she really brings Christmas through the land of snow alive. So I love that she's a woman that is commanding and has power, that she can make the blizzard happen. And yet she's this beautiful, feminine, lovely character. So I guess I love Snow Queen. And, you know, I always want to try to bring happiness and sparkle to, like, shows. And so Snow Queen has a very beautiful character. I love her.
Kind of when getting this whole thing together, you know, right now they're rehearsing with your vocal direction, but also, you know, music playing in the background. How is it when you then implement the live music? How is that different?
It's really, you know, when you look at a production of this magnitude and this size, it is quite amazing. From our littlest dancer, who is 6 years old, to the adult dancers who are adult characters in this show, to Drosselmeyer. Everybody has to do their part, which means dancers have to know the wings to enter and exit. Stagehands have to know when huge props come out. And we just got done rehearsing battle scene. And if one little thing goes wrong, it's like a domino. It just starts falling apart. So it just takes such a village of people to put a show on in this magnitude. And I feel so blessed to have so many people, from dancers to guest artists to musicians to stagehands to lighting directors to technical directors. It really is a crew of us that have to make every little thing come to life. And it's interesting because you sit here and the conductor comes out and the audience applauses and I say a little prayer. And, you know, it's like once that first note happens, dun, 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 and here we go. I just pray that everybody's going to do their job, from the littlest angel, who's only 8 years old, to the guest artists who have been flown in specifically for the Sugar Plum and Cavalier. to every person that's backstage getting ready for this performance. And what's lovely is I turn and I look at the audience and I see the wonderment in like little children are on the edge of their seats watching the Sugar Plum. Little boys are watching the battle scene and they're watching the Nutcracker and the Mouse King fight. You know, it's just such a lovely thing to bring to life an enchanting story with beautiful dancers and beautiful people who are all working together to create a common goal. And that's the Nutcracker. It takes a village.
You can see the Lincoln Midwest Ballet Company's 41st annual production of the Nutcracker at the Lied Center on Saturday, December 13th at 2 and 7 p.m. and Sunday, December 14th at 2 p.m. That was Artistic Director Sherry True. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
For details, visit the Friday Live page at nebraskapublicmedia.org. At the Lied Center for Performing Arts and for Friday Live, I'm Arthur Jones.
St. Paul United Methodist Church in Lincoln is celebrating the season with an evening of traditional and fresh takes on some Christmas classics. Coming up on Sunday, December 14th at 7 p.m., the St. Paul Choir will perform Durante's Magnificat and then be joined by members of the Westminster Presbyterian Choir for some more Christmas music. The program also includes a world premiere, by the way, with a new arrangement of the First Noel by the British composer Ian Asserson. Director Mary Young joins me right now for more about this. Mary, thanks for joining me on our Friday Live Extra podcast.
Thanks for having me.
This is great. How did you come to find out about this composer's arrangement of First Noel?
You know, I was on one of those websites and those Facebook groups that choral directors are often on, and Ian posted, "Who needs an arrangement for Christmas?" And I Facebook messaged him and said, "We do." I said, "Our congregation loves to sing. If you could arrange a classic carol, I don't care which one, for strings, keep it simple and elegant, and let the congregation sing on the choruses." It was in my inbox in 3 days.
Wow. How often do you get to participate in a world premiere?
Not very. This is really exciting.
Very cool. Well, then you've also got some guests, which I mentioned, and they're involved in that particular arrangement. Yes? You want to talk a little bit about your guest performers?
Yes, we're so excited to welcome actually performers from Westminster Presbyterian, other churches in the area, and just singers that I know from different places. I said, hey, if you want to sing on the second half of our Christmas concert, come to 2 rehearsals. Here's all the music, and let's just have some fun. We've got some strings players from the university, a bunch of singers. We have some from the Lincoln Continental's Barbershop Chorus, the Star City Sound Group, different groups. I think maybe 10 to 12 extra friends joining us for the Carol of the Bells and Angels We Have Heard on High, and the congregation will get some chances to sing along too.
Okay. What do you think it adds to do these kinds of collaborations in a performance?
Oh, this is the heartbeat of music, no? Is to collaborate. And also, some people can't commit to a weekly rehearsal. Some people can't commit to an entire semester, but they can come to a couple rehearsals and they'll look at the music ahead of time. They could be trusted. So I'm thinking even for our spring concert coming up here at St. Paul, maybe a similar idea of, hey, let's open up at least part of the concert to friends who like to sing and might not always get the chance to.
Perfect. I love it. Well, so I mentioned also this Magnificat, Francesco Durante's Magnificat, both in terms of historical significance, but also the story that it's telling within the music. Could you give our listeners a little bit?
Oh, I would love to. So Francesco Durante is a composer of the Baroque period, and in a time when it was so fashionable to write opera, most of his works were actually sacred. This work is the most famous because there's some controversy surrounding its authorship. For years, people believed that his young pupil, Pergolesi, wrote it. In fact, the first time I performed it 5 years ago, my old score says Pergolesi's Magnificat. It's very recently that scholars have attributed it to Durante, and that's why it got its notoriety. But it's a lovely piece of the traditional setting from Luke chapter 1, Mary's song, My Soul Magnifies the Lord, and it's telling of the coming incarnation that's about to happen. It's in 6 movements. There are a couple of solo movements. Bits of it are hearkening back to the Renaissance. The beginning phrase, the cantus firmus, the fixed voice, is from a Monteverdi Vespers setting. So that's Renaissance in nature, but there's also movements that are in fugues, and it's light. There's lots of ornamentation. So it's distinctly Baroque in its style, but it does harken back to Renaissance bits. There's some cool text painting that I want to point out for people. I'll tell them again at the concert, but my favorite is when it says he disperses the proud, and Durante wrote the word dispersit, disperse, and he wrote it in the basses, dispersit.
Oh, love.
And you could just hear him dispersing the proud. There's lots of moments like that in Baroque music that are just fun to listen for.
And I just want to highlight here, too, you mentioned the text, even the very term Magnificat is related to magnify.
Exactly.
I think, we say these things, we get used to Christmas traditions year after year after year, but we don't necessarily take a closer look at what the origins of these things are. Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like an amazing and fascinating piece. And then in addition to all that, for some carols, the audience is invited to sing along?
That's right. Our Noel that we're premiering, you get to sing. There's a Joy to the World sing-along. You might not be able to help singing along to Angels, We Have Heard on High, even though it's not something I'm going to publicly encourage. It's just the most fun arrangement in the world I've ever heard of Angels We Have Heard on High, with some tambourine, there's some percussion. It's just absolutely delightful. And there's nothing that makes you want to sing more than Christmas.
I was going to say, when it's Christmas, especially Christmas music, what is so magical about singing and singing together?
It's got to be the nostalgia. No, it's got to be the memories and the nostalgia that's all wrapped up. It can bring back sound memories and sight memories. It could bring back smells. All of your senses are engaged.
This is Dr. Mary Young here among us, director of the St. Paul Choir. She's also, in general, a conductor, clinician, lecturer, singer, pianist. You're originally from Rochester, New York, yes?
That's correct.
Came to Nebraska here to study, and you're also adjunct at Concordia in Seward?
Also correct.
Am I missing another hat? You probably wear a few hats.
No, I'm a researcher as well. I recently got to go to the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. and do some groundbreaking research with Native American recordings that have been just sitting there for 150 years. So I'm hoping to do more with that as well.
Amazing. Please keep in touch with me about that.
Thanks.
I think that will be exciting to hear about. Well, she is also conducting an upcoming performance here, as we talked about, Durante's Magnificat and Songs of the Season. That's Sunday, December 14th, 7 p.m. at St. Paul United Methodist Church, which is in downtown Lincoln. Mary, a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Genevieve.
You've been listening to the Friday Live Extra. Don't forget to check out a full Friday Live show, too, by subscribing to the Friday Live podcast. Listen online at nebraskapublicmedia.org/Friday Live, or tune in at 10 a.m. Central every Friday for the broadcast on Nebraska Public Media.